Yeah, slide in just a little bit. Start with Rob Lewis.
Olivier, just, compare the depth on this team to last year. I mean, just how much more improved is it? How much does that enhance competition and practice? And, how much different is it than this time last year?
So I feel like this year's team is very competitive. Last year's team was also very competitive, but we have less new guys coming in and more old guys coming back. So I feel like the bonds are stronger there, and the depth is definitely there thanks to the fact that so many players are coming back. And then the players that are coming in, I feel like coaching staff, and we have more guards coming in this year than bigs, and I feel like the other guards have done a very good job of getting Keon and Jaden especially ready for the roles. And then VJ, he had his whole year here with Lamonte and JB, who helped him a lot, and I think that's why VJ was so ready to start playing right off the bat.
Mike Wilson, Nicholas Hill.
Olivier, Rick said this might be as comfortable as you've looked on the court since you've been here. Why were you so comfortable tonight, and what's the key for you continuing to have that comfort level on the court?
I think accepting the fact that there's a lot for me to learn and not trying to force myself to feel like when I go out there, I need to be perfect. I just need to play hard. I need to get better every minute that I'm on the court. I need to get better even on the bench watching my teammates play. I need to get better at every practice, and I just need to prepare for the games as best I can.
Compared to last year in your freshman year, just what is the main thing that you think you've improved on from your freshman year to now in your sophomore year?
My inside game, that was the main thing last year. Coach wanted me to work on, and that's what he wanted me to be last year. And I feel like I've just put a lot more focus into that. And, I'm still putting a lot of focus into that and still trying to work on being ready and playing in tight spaces. And, our guards are great, so they give you those chances to score, and I'm just waiting for those. And then on defense, I feel like being more active, being on the move, constantly engaged with all my teammates, knowing the coverage at all times. I'm still working on all that, and I'm still trying to make sure I'm locked in on all that at all times.
Ben McKee, then Troy.
When you and Urosh aren't in the game, on every single possession when the ball's on the other side of the floor, you two get up and you stand on the baseline. Is that something that you two kind of took upon yourself to do, and what was the reasoning behind that?
We love our team, man. We love our teammates, and when we see them out there, we love it. We love watching our teammates play, and I feel like, to be honest, it keeps us more engaged and more ready than if we go in the game. Because we there yelling the coverage, making sure everybody knows what's going on. Because this year, people can hear us, unlike last year. So it's almost as if we're in the game while we're on the bench. And then once you actually do go in the game, not a lot changes. That's the kind of feeling we're trying to create. We're trying to have our bench and the people out on the court all be on the same page at all times. And I feel like since they don't have so many fans this year, our brothers playing out there, us giving them more energy is very important. And, they do it for us when we get to go play, so we got to do it for them.
Olivier, Rick mentioned Keon and him feeling like Keon and Jaden weren't necessarily prepared for today's game. As somebody who has kind of went through their shoes last year, what is the biggest challenge in trying to learn how to prepare yourself for a college game as opposed to when you were a high school player?
I mean, when you play in high school, you can ride off talent a long way, and you know which teams are what. But when you play in college, every team got players, especially when you high major D1 school. Every team is going to bring their best at you, and every team is going to have somebody who can hoop, somebody who got overlooked or whatever their situation may be, or they're Kentucky and they just got all 5 stars. It really doesn't matter what kind of team it is. Everybody got players who can play. Like, even D2 teams got players who can hoop. And you can't come into a game thinking, oh, because they're not in our conference or they're not in no Power 5 conference, they're not going to be like that. And I don't think it's them looking at it as if the other team was worse. I just think they're not used to preparing for games at the high level that you have to when you're in college. It's not in high school, you can pull up to the game. You can show up to the game 30 minutes before. lay up lines, dunk the ball a couple times, and you'll be ready to play. But in college, we show up, and it's a whole day. A game day is a whole day. It's a game day. It's not a game. Like high school, you show up for the game and you leave, and that's it, 2 hours of your day. But in college, it's your whole day. It's your whole day before. It might be your whole week, to be honest. So it's very different, and I think it's great that we were able to have these preseason games because this is what SEC would have been like, and if we would have started with that, it could have been more of a shock for them. But I think those guys, they're very tough and they're very talented players, so I think they'll be great.
Olivier, that was an amazing answer. We'll go to Wes Rucker and Mike Wilson.
Yeah, Olivier, Rick Barnes, a lot of coaches have talked about how, you got to kind of be playing within yourself when you're out there on the floor. You got to be in the flow of the game, kind of do what you can do. Is that a tougher thing to do when you're on a team that's got a lot of really good players and everybody's competing for minutes? Do you have to kind of make sure you're not out there forcing things too much when you get a chance?
I feel like that doesn't really change what kind of team you're on much. But if I'm being honest, I think it makes it easier when you're on a good team because when you go out there, and I don't even think good team is the right word. I think it's easier when you're on a team where you're close with your teammates. When you're not close with your teammates, it's harder. Because I feel like when I go out there now, I know everybody so well, and I know they have my back. Like, I know if anything happens, somebody has my back. And I think that feeling is just amazing. And I think that really helps you be more comfortable when you step out on the floor. Last year, I was a new guy, so I think I'm more comfortable with this team this year after having been with pretty much the whole roster for a whole year. And we went through this whole COVID thing, and we went through a whole preseason together, which got extended a couple times. And so I feel like we've been through a lot together already, and that just helps everybody feel more comfortable. And I think that shows in how much we pass the ball and how well we play together already.
Mike
Olivier,
Wilson
you
and
said
Madison.
you're not really so worried about going out there and good.
You're good, Mike. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Mike's screen froze, Tom.
We'll skip him and go to Madison.
Olivier, Coach Barnes was telling us that Christmas is obviously going to look different for you guys this year as well. Staying here in Knoxville and celebrating as a team. In some way, that's kind of special, though, just to continue to celebrate the good and bad times with your teammates right now.
Like I said before, we've gone through a lot together, and being able to go through Christmas together is a blessing. And if you're willing to look at it that way, everybody's used to spending Christmas with their families, but we've become one big family here now. So it's still a blessing. You don't have to be alone. That's probably the worst way to spend Christmas, to be alone. You get to still be around people who love you, and that's really what Christmas is about. It's about the love. As long as you have that, I think you can enjoy a great Christmas.
Did you get your teammates any good gifts this year?
Not yet.
Still got 2 days.
Yeah.
I've got Mike's question. He said you don't feel like you have to be perfect on the court, but what does the perfect role for you look like? What is the perfect type of performance for you?
So if I'm being 100% honest here, I look at Eve and I look at EJ. They go out there and they play their hearts out. And I feel like that's what I need to do. My teammates are doing that. When I take time on the court and, they come off the court and they need rest, I need to be there to bring that same energy as my teammates are bringing. And, whether it's playing defense, being there on the catch, executing ball screen defense, being on the white line, being in the stance the whole time, I feel like that's just what I got to focus on. And on the offensive end, if I just keep on the move, see my teammates when they're open, I cut my teammates are in trouble, make sure they have an outlet. I run the plays. It's pretty much running the plays on offense and running the plays on defense. Then that's all I can bring to the table.
Olivier, everyone here, thanks you very much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Olivier.
Yep, Merry Christmas.